ready na ba kayo guys? Ready na kayo? So please message lang kayo kung ready na kayo. Okay. So yeah, let's start. Wag na natin patagalin kasi itong Advanced Financial Accounting and Reporting natin is siyempre i-advance natin ang discussion. Okay? Dire-diretso na tayo dito sa discussion natin dito. Okay? And then of course, I want to introduce to you our reviewer. Okay, ayan si Ma'am Melissa. So you can call her Mel or Isa. Okay? So si Ma'am Isa is a certified public accountant and MBA. She is currently a professor sa Laguna. Okay, Laguna-based si Ma'am. So tandaan nyo guys yung isa nating mga reviewer nung mga nauna nasa Mindanao, yung pangalawa naman is nasa Northern Luzon, and then ngayon si Ma'am is part of Southern Luzon. So that's how we do it. And then she is an officer in the board of investment. Okay, so part si Ma'am sa board of investment. She's involved in the industry of board of investment, and then of course she has more than 8 years of accounting experience. Okay, so guys, I just want you to remind before we start, before I will take over kay Ma'am Isa, before I give the floor to Ma'am Isa, please guys, focus on the webinar, no distraction. Make sure you have a reliable internet connection. Okay. Get your pen and notes. Avoid unnecessary background. Okay. And then of course, avoid unnecessary background noise. And then may nagsusulat. Okay, teka, alisin natin, no? Mamaya na lang anyway, baka si mag-isa yun. Okay. So guys, yeah, and then of course turn off or mute yourself. Though naka-mute naman kayo sa akin. Okay, don't unmute. Okay, and then of course turn off your video. Just a reminder for everyone. So yeah, so that's it guys. By the way, my name is Tristan Cristobal. So yeah, we are going to discuss with you. Ang topic natin for today is about advanced financial reporting, financial accounting and reporting. So yeah, it's all about corporate liquidation. So but before we proceed guys, of course, Ma'am Isa, hi. Thank you so much. Ayan, hintayin lang natin si Ma'am Isa.
Hi, sir.
Yan. Ma'am, bago tayo mag-proceed, of course, tanong kita ng important question kasi ito yung mga sinusubaybayan ng mga students kung paano ba ang CPA journey mo? Can you please share to us paano ka ba naging CPA? Ano ba yung mga maibibigay mong tips sa kanila? Kahit short lang, ma'am. Short tips lang sa kanila or brief.
Yes, sir. Actually, yung first board exam ko, I failed po.
Oh.
So, yes. First take ko ng board exam, akala ko, papasa ako kasi during my entire schooling, since I was in preschool, elementary, high school, never kong naranasan na mag-fail sa mga exam. And then, syempre ako, medyo nakampante ako sa sarili ko. Kaya ko yan. Hindi pala ganon. Hindi pala siya ganon.
Okay.
Huwag tayong makampante sa ganon lang. Kailangan natin talagang mag-aral ng mabuti. At saka, ang payo ko lang is target mo dapat wag mong i-target na makapasa ka lang. Yung mas target na halos ma-perfect mo yung board exam. Yun ang masasabi kong technique kasi being a CPA hindi siya biro, no? So mahirap ang board exam, CPA board exam, mahirap. Pero syempre, pagkatapos noon, kapag CPA ka na, nandun na yung totoong buhay, yung challenges of being a CPA. So, dito pa lang, sa exam pa lang, galingan mo na. Diba?
Okay.
Dapat galingan mo na. So, yun po, bumagsak ako sa una kong take, and then the second take, naging conditional naman ako.
Nice.
Yes, sir. One subject, auditing theory lang naman. So, at least, medyo natuwa ako kasi less na yung computations kasi theory
Oo.
na lang eh. So,
Mhm.
ayun. So, yun po yung
Ilang
naging
items pa yun, ma'am? Auditing theory nun, 70 items?
parang ganun nga po, sir. Kasi matagal
Okay.
na eh. 10 years, ay 11 years ago na, sir. Matagal na.
Batang-bata pa. So,
Yes, sir.
guys, no, ang ganda ng kwento ni Ma'am so ni Ma'am Isa. So, most likely, guys, nakaka-relate kayo sa kanya. Okay? Kasi isipin niyo
Yes.
na lang, no, kasi meron tayong mga students, ma'am, na they took it 4 times na, and then
Oh.
dalawang beses, more than two, basta more than twice na silang nag exam, okay? And then yung iba naman is graduate na ng early years. Meron din naman tayong mga students na mga recent graduate, okay? Pero yun nga, ang ganda ng kwento mo, ma'am, nakaka-inspire kasi isipin nyo, guys, hindi porke bumagsak kayo ng una or pangalawa is, well, hindi kayo magiging CPA, nasa I
Yes.
think pagpupursige nyo lang na gustong-gusto nyo maging CPA, and then syempre mag-aral kayo ng mabuti, okay? So yeah, so ma'am, hindi ko na patatagalin. Okay? I will give the floor to you so you can share your documents and then you can discuss.
Yes, sir.
By the way, guys, no, yeah, Ma'am Alex will discuss to you the corporate liquidation. But before that, guys, I just want to remind you na yeah, we by tomorrow matatapos ng ating aming early bird. So please guys, magkuhan kayo, no, enroll until tomorrow, okay? So yes, ma'am, go ahead, you can share your documents and then we can start.
Yes, sir. So, I'm going to share my document now.
Okay, thank you.
So, yes, sir. Thank you very much, sir. So, hello, students. Hello, reviewees. I
Review is
mean,
na.
yes. Hello, reviewees. So, today we are going to discuss about the corporate liquidation. Yes, so we have a set of problems here. So, this is in Word format. So, as you can remember, we have categories or categories of classifications of liabilities in the statement of affairs, right? So, you have fully secured, partially secured liabilities, unsecured liabilities with priority, and unsecured liabilities without priority, right? So, in this, okay, let's start with the first number. So, let me read it to you. So, number 1, Philippine National Bank holds a 500,000 note. So, this is a note payable, right? So, secured by a building owned by Luigi Software, which has filed for bankruptcy. If the property has a book value of 600,000 and a fair market value of 450,000, what is the best way to describe the notes held by the Philippine National Bank? Okay, so let's start here. So we have Luigi Software, right? So Luigi Software is the company. So Luigi Software has a note payable to Philippine National Bank, which is in the amount of 500,000. So it's here. So the notes payable here is 500,000. This is the liability, right? So it's a notes payable. And then it says here in the problem that this is secured. So let me just first adjust this one. So yan, medyo naharangan kasi ng Zoom functions. Okay, so I'm here na. I'm good. So since we have here notes payable, it says here in the problem that this is secured by a building. Okay, so this is the building with a book value. So here it is book value of 600,000. So what do we mean by book value? It means that 600,000 is the value of the building in our FS, right? So, but there is another statement in here. It has a fair market value of 450,000. Okay, so what do we do? What do we consider as the value to assess whether this liability of 500,000 pesos notes payable is fully secured, partially secured, or unsecured. So when we say fully secured, right, we have, it means that our liability, the entire liability, is secured. Okay, so this means that the entire liability is secured. So for example, we have a liability here of 500,000, and then it is secured by an asset with also with a value of 500,000. So we have fully secured. But fully secured liability. So, but in this case, it says here that the fair market value is at 450,000. So, what we need to do is that we need to consider the fair market value and not the book value. Right? So, I have here a solution below. So, you can see here that this is the notes payable, 500,000. And then we compare it with the fair market value. So, fair market value of the building, which is 450,000. So, obviously, 450,000 is less than the full amount of the liability, right? So, in that case, 450,000, which is fair market value, is the secured portion. Okay, so this is the secured portion. So, is this a fully secured liability? No, it is not a fully secured, but instead it is a partially secured, right? Because 450,000 partially secures the partial liability, right? So we have a difference here of 50,000. So this difference of 50,000 is the what we call unsecured portion of the liability. Okay, so we have an answer now. What is the answer? The answer is letter C. Okay, so a secured claim, okay, because it is the secured portion, 450,000, and an unsecured claim of 50,000 pesos. So, okay, so we are done with the problem number 1. Let's move on to problem number 2. Okay, so we have here X and Y Incorporated owes Xylo Corporation 60,000 on account which is secured by accounts receivable with a book value of 50,000. So here we go again with the book value. So let me illustrate this. So I have listed here the liability, which is 60,000. So this is the liability. So and then it says here in the first sentence, we have an accounts receivable with the book value here of 50,000. Okay, let's continue with the sentences. The unsecured portion is considered a claim under the bankruptcy law. X and Y has filed for bankruptcy. Its statement of affairs lists the accounts receivable securing the Xylo account with an estimated realizable value. Okay, so here we go with the estimated realizable value of 45,000 pesos. Okay, if the dividend to general unsecured creditors is 80%, how much can Xylo expect to receive? Okay, so I have listed here below the liability amount, which is 60,000, and then the book value, which is 50,000. But it says here that accounts receivable has an estimated realizable value of 45,000. So what do we need to consider in terms of the security of the liability? So we need to consider what? The estimated realizable value, of course, not the book value. Okay, so we have here our 45,000 pesos. Okay, so the question is how much can Xylo expect to receive? So of course, since if we compare the liability amount of 60, right, compared to 45,000, right? Oops, 45,000. right? So, of course, the liability is greater than the asset secured to it or pledged to it, right? So, this is an example of a partially secured liability. Okay, so how much can Xylo expect to receive? It's at 45,000, of course. The entire 45,000 will be payable to Xylo, but that does not end there. So we need still to consider papaano na or how do we pay for the remaining 15,000. So we have here look at this portion. So we have the liability less the estimated realizable value. So we have an unsecured portion of 15,000. So since in the problem, it was said that the dividend to general unsecured creditors, it's at 80%. So this 15,000, 80% of it can also be paid to Xylo, right? So if we compute, let's get our calculator. So we have here 15,000. Oops, wait. So we have here 15,000, right? So we have here our 15,000 multiplied to 80%. So I used my calculator actually. So I think it was not showed on the okay. So we have here okay, it was showed pala. So we have here our 12,000 pesos. So this is the 12,000 pesos. Okay, so we have here 12,000. So this means that of the 15,000 unsecured portion, Xylo can also collect 12,000 pesos, which is 80%. So I added these two amounts. So 45,000 plus 12,000, it's at 57,000 pesos. So the answer is at letter C. Yan, okay? Okay, so let's move on to the next problem. So, okay, we have here number 3. Okay, so number 3, P Corporation is a parent. Okay, having purchased 60% of S Company's common stock at par value for 600,000 pesos. S Company is in financial difficulty. The parent granted an unsecured loan of 200,000 to the subsidiary. An accounting statement of affairs for S Company shows a dividend of 30%. Okay, so P Corporation can expect to receive on the loan. Okay, so P Corporation, so remember when you are answering board exam questions, please double check the question. Okay, so sometimes nadadaya tayo dun sa minsan nalilito tayo. So hindi pala yun yung tanong, pero yun yung sinagot mo. So in order for you to start with the correct items to be used on your computation, please double check the question. Okay, so P Corporation can expect to receive on the loan of appropriately. So actually, this question is just the same as the first and second problems, right? So we have here our computation. How much is the liability of S Company? So the parent or P Corporation granted 200,000, right? Okay, so 200,000. So in the problem, wala tayong nakikita or there is no asset secured to the loan, right? So there is no asset pledge. So wala tayong titignan. So that means this liability is unsecured liability. Okay? So it does not fall under fully secured, partially secured. So this is an unsecured liability. Okay, so because there is no asset pledge. No asset pledge. Okay, so, but it says here in the problem, an accounting statement of affairs shows a dividend. So when we see here dividend or estimated realizable or what do we call that in the previous problem? It says here dividend pa rin sa previous problem. Okay? So we can use that to multiply to the unsecured portion. Okay, so in here we have multiplied 200,000 multiplied to 30%. So let's get our calculator. So 200,000 multiplied to 30%. The answer is 60,000. So this is the expected recovery. Okay, the expected recovery per peso of unsecured creditors. Okay, so are we good? Let's go to the next problem.
All right, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
Ma'am Mel, pan muna natin.
Yes, sir.
Patalastas muna tayo, no?
Okay,
Siyempre,
sir.
we want to say thank you sa ating mga nakikinig sa Facebook, okay? Kay Sir Melvin, okay? And then of course kay Nayem Domanico, and then kay Berhel Martinez, kay Angela Lee. Hello, how are you? And then of course kay Christine, kay Francis, kay Tesoro. Wow, ang dami. So guys, no, itong sample natin dito, mga sample computation natin. By the way, guys, no, this is listed from the book of Sir Diane. Okay? So these are listed from the book of Dayag. So please guys, no, support natin yung ang ganda kasi nung corporate liquidation, no. Ang daming problem sa corporate liquidation compared sa mga ibang authors. So ang ganda nito. Kaya we gave you these problems, and then yeah, there's more in our when you enrolled in our in our online review, guys. So we will give you more of practical problems that is possible for board exam. Okay, so yes, of course guys, malapit na ang ating second batch na natin for this coming sem. Until tomorrow na lang ang ating early bird. Okay, so early bird is until tomorrow, 8,500. So yes, so yan, go ahead sir, Ma'am Mel,
Yes,
take
sir.
the
Thank
floor.
you very much. Thank you, sir. So we proceed to the next problem. So this is problem number 4. Okay, so let me read it for you. P Corporation is a parent having purchased 60% of S Company's common stock at par value for 600,000. S Company is in financial difficulty. The parent granted an unsecured loan of 200,000 to the subsidiary. In accounting statement of affairs for S Company shows a dividend of 30%. So as you can see, the given example is the same as the problem in number 3. Okay? But in this case, what is the question? So I have been reminding you earlier na please double check the question kung anong hinahanap sa problem. So P Corporation here can expect to receive payment for its investment in S Company of approximately how much? Okay, so what was the question in number 3? So in number 3, let me show you number 3. We have discussed kanina. So in here, it says, P Corporation can expect to receive on the loan. Okay, so how much daw ang masisingil ni P Corporation doon sa loan? But in number 4, it's a different question. It's the same story, but with a different question. P Corporation can expect to receive payment for its investment in S Company of approximately. So actually, it involves the question of how much will be paid for its investment in S Company. Okay, so the answer here is 0. Why? because investment in subsidiary account is not affected. So remember that receivables and payables transacted between parent and subsidiary still exists on their separate balance sheet. So when collection is made or payment is made, it will still be journalized in the usual manner. Okay, in case that there yung payment and collection of accounts receivable, accounts payable, investment in subsidiary account is not affected. So it will still be journalized like in the usual manner, in like an ordinary collection or payment of an account, which does not affect at all the investment in subsidiary account. Okay, so let's go to the next problem. So thank you very much. So it's number 5. I have here the question and the answer I will explain to you. So number 5. Kent Incorporated has forced into bankruptcy and has begun to liquidate. Unsecured claims will be paid at the rate of 40 cents on the peso. So let us remember 40 cents on the peso. So I have here the 40 centavos per peso. I have written it in here in advance para madaling makita. So Apex Company holds a non-interest bearing note receivable from Kent in the amount of 100,000. So there is a liability by Kent Incorporated. Okay. So I wrote it in here. So Kent Incorporated has a liability of 100,000 pesos. Collateralized, so let's continue with the paragraph. Collateralized by machinery, an asset with a liquidation value of 25,000 pesos. So we have here only one value, which is liquidation value. So wala namang sinabing book value. So let us consider this liquidation value. The total amount, so this is the question, the total amount to be realized by Apex on this note receivable is, so what do? We need to consider the liability. And then below the liability, I wrote down the liquidation value of 25,000 of the machinery. So let us assess. So let us look at the liquidation value. 25,000, is this sufficient enough to cover the entire 100,000? Of course not. No? So short pa tayo. So this is a partially secured liability. Okay? So since meron pa tayong kulang na 75,000 pesos, which is the difference. Okay? So this 25,000 is the secured portion, and then the 75,000 is the unsecured portion. Okay? So the question is, how much is the total amount to be realized by Apex? So of course, the entire liquidation value of the machinery will be given or will be paid to Apex Company, of course. And then, of course, we have an unsecured portion of 75,000. So we need to 75,000, we need to multiply this by 40%. Why 40%? It is the rate that can be recovered, right, for unsecured liability. So 75,000 multiplied by 40% is at 30,000. Okay, so of course, the 30,000 portion of the unsecured 75,000, so ito yan. So 25,000 plus 30,000, it's at 55,000 pesos. So the answer is letter C, 55,000 pesos. Okay, so are we good? So let's move on to the next problem. Okay, so this is number 6. Okay, so let me read it for you. Seco Corporation was forced into bankruptcy and is in the process of liquidating assets and paying claims. Unsecured claims will be paid at the rate of 40 cents on the peso. Hale holds a 30,000 non-interest-bearing note receivable from SECO collateralized by an asset with a book value of 35,000 and a liquidation value of 5,000 pesos. So the question, the amount to be realized by Hale on this note is, okay, so what do we do? Let us, okay, is it number 6? So, okay, so let's get our asset at liquidation value, right? Why not book value? Okay, so hindi po ito. So we need to get our liquidation value. So please look at here. So look at here po. So we have here our liability, which is 30,000, right? Okay. And then we have security for this liability, which is in the amount of 5,000, the liquidation value. Of course, it is a partially secured liability, right? So we have here an unsecured portion or the difference of 25,000 pesos. Okay, so this is the unsecured portion. The question is the amount to be realized. So we need to consider the 5,000, which is the liquidation value of the assets, okay? Plus the unsecured portion, okay, which is 25,000 multiplied by 40 centavos. Why 40 centavos? It was said here in the problem. So let's be careful ha, because in this problem, yung 40 cents on the peso was written in words. Okay? Wala kang makikitang figure dyan. Actually, habang binabasa ko, hinahanap ko, nasan yung figure? Ito na siya. So, hinanap ko na siya, sinulat ko na dito. So, this is the 40 cents on the peso or 40 centavos divided by 1 peso, or it can be like here, 40%. So, let's get back to the computation below. We have an unsecured portion of 25,000 multiplied to 40%. Okay, so let me get my calculator. So, we have here 25,000 multiplied to 40% or 40 centavos per peso, right? So we have the answer 10,000 pesos. Okay, so we have here 10,000. So 5,000 plus 10,000. Oops, ba't ang pangit ng plus ko? Ayan. Naging multiplication. So it's 15,000. So the answer here is letter C.
All right, letter C.
Yes.
Okay, so guys, thank you ma'am. By the way, guys, no, si ma'am is may PhD ngayon si ma'am. She is currently taking up her PhD. Okay, ang galing. Ma'am, thank you so much. Ang galing-galing.
Thank you.
Let me just share to you yung ating, guys, no, wait lang ha. I-share ko lang sa inyo yung ating website wherein pwede ko kayong i-walk through ko lang kayo, guys. So wait lang ha, walk through ko lang kayo pagdating sa yan. Okay, I don't know if nakikita nyo. Anong nakikita nyo yung kay ma'am? Okay, teka lang ma'am ha. Ma'am, kunin ko lang yung floor, yung yung sharing.
Yes, sir. You are very welcome.
Okay. So guys, no, here is our website kung saan makikita nyo yung CPA Online Review School.com. So guys, it's very simple. Very simple lang yung process namin. So as you can see, you can see the schedule of reviewers here. And then ito yung let us say, ako yan, si Cristobal for the auditing theory, for the auditing problem, of course. And then, for management advisory, so we already have schedules for the next SEM, June 15. And then for advanced financial reporting, ayan, meron na tayo niyan for 9 p.m. ang schedule. By the way, guys, and then of course sa RFBT, which is 9 to 10 o'clock. So by the way, guys, no, every week ang schedule is paiba-iba. Okay? Because we are flexible, we are online. So paiba-iba ang schedule natin. So but then again, maka-attend ka or hindi, don't worry. Don't worry about that kasi let me show it to you guys, no? Let me show it to you. Meron kang recording. Okay? Lahat ng subjects meron ka, ha? So, yeah. So, this is it. So, I think this is my portal. So, tinitignan ko lang kung ano yung nagawa ko na for that. So, we have this kind of ito, lahat yan, no? Ito yung example na makikita nyo dyan. Okay? So, yeah. So, lahat ng topics makikita nyo. So, let us say hindi ka naka-attend, don't worry about that kung hindi ka naka-attend. No? Meron tayong auditing, meron tayong recording for you. Ibig sabihin, guys, ito kasi yung nakikita nyo ngayon is for the batch May 2020. So, nakumpleto na yan lahat, ano? For batch May 2020, kumpleto. Tignan nyo, mayroon kaming, ito, nakikita nyo yan, final pre-board. Okay, meron kaming final pre-board, no? Tapos na namin actually. So, we are just waiting for our students to pass or to pass their paper, electronic paper. Okay. So, same goes with the RFBT. So, makikita nyo dyan, dami yan. Lahat yan, no? So, my final pre-board. So, yeah. So, you are all welcome to enroll in CPA Online Review School. So, just go over with our website, guys. Okay, if you want more information, okay, and then of course if you want to have free webinars, meron din kami, guys, no? We are giving free webinars just like this. So this is for purposes of educational purposes to. Generic ang ginagamit nating materials, okay, na available sa market for free. Okay, that's why please support also those our different authors. So we are also nag-introduce din kami ng mga authors na bibilihin yung books sa aming session, kung anong books ang pwede niyong bilhin, yung maganda, ano pa yung additional materials na pwede niyong kunin. So, and then, ano pa yung, let us say, you are down, you are, hindi mo na alam kung anong gagawin mo, you are in the middle of chaotic review session, ayan, no, you have all the blogs na bababasa nyo rin sa aming website. Okay? So yeah, so again, guys, our fee is only 8,500 until tomorrow. So after by May 2016, kwan na kami, guys, no, 10,000 pesos na aming fee. Okay, so I just want to summarize, guys, yung ating topic today, which is corporate liquidation. So nagkakaroon ng corporate ng liquidation for some reasons, okay? And these are due to financial difficulties, due to, of course, siguro sabihin natin management decision. Okay? So parang wala lang, napagtripan lang ng management na ayaw na nila doing business or because maybe hindi na kumikita. Diba? And then of course that when you have that you are in the process of corporate liquidation, the going concern is already there's no more going concern assumption. So if you will remember, guys, going concern assumption na yung business is will perform, or I mean it's there's a continuity of business na infinite, di ba? But in terms of corporate liquidation, okay? So nandun na yung idea na wala nang going concern. Okay? So ngayon, ang pinapakita sa inyo ni Ma'am in terms dun sa the computation, if there are secured obligations and unsecured obligations. So I just want to summarize, guys. No, I'm just summarizing it. When you say unsecured, so yun na yung when you say secured, yun yung mapapansin nyo, yun yung may collateral. Okay? Merong katapat na asset yung utang mo. Parang ganon. Okay? na meron kang pinantapat. Okay, so guys, eto no, meron kaming promo ngayon. Actually, nagra-run pa siya ng last, kailan ba? Nung Wednesday pa guys, nagra-run siya. Please answer if you are ready to be a CPA. Okay? Answer in our Facebook page, doon sa FB Live natin. And then tell us the reason why. Why are you ready to be CPA? Okay, so we have a promo for that. So yung mananalo is magkakaroon ng free scholar namin, okay, for this sem or next sem, depende sa inyo, sa winner na yon. So ganun din sa first place or second first prize, which is you will have a 70% off. So 3,000 pesos na lang guys, no? 3,000 pesos na lang if you are the first prize. And then second prize is 50% off, so 5,000 pesos. Okay? So again guys, unahan na lang kayo doon sa Facebook page. Hindi naman sa unahan, but what I'm trying to say is punta kayo sa, after nito, punta kayo sa FB page and then answer the question, are you ready to be a CPA? Okay? So I think Ma'am Mel, we can go into one more problem and then yeah,
Yes,
and
sir.
then we will yes ma'am. So go ahead ma'am. Thank you so much for the time, no. Sorry. Kinukuha ko lang yung attention ng mga bata for us to yung alam nila yung gagawin nila dito sa sino ba si CPA Online Review School, no. So okay ma'am. So yeah, let's have another problem and then yeah, then we will invite them again. So guys, now listen to Ma'am Isa for another problem.
Yes, sir. So I'm sharing my screen again. So, okay. So, let's move on to this problem. Okay. So, this is problem number 7. Okay. So, let me read it for you. Blueprint Incorporated signed a note payable to its bank for 10,000 pesos. Accrued interest on the note, okay, on February 29, 20x5 amounts to 250 pesos. Okay, the note is secured by inventory with the book value of 12,000 pesos. So, the inventory is sold for 8,000 pesos. And unsecured creditors receive 30% of their claims. The bank should receive the following amount in settlement of the note and interest. So, at first, of course, sa umpisa, I am writing here how much will be paid to unsecured creditors at what percent. So, ninote ko na agad dito para hindi ko makalimutan. It's at 30 centavos or 30%. Right? So, we take note also of our liability. Okay? So, since we have a liability of 10,000 pesos, which is a notes payable, okay? So, of course, we also take note of the accrued interest. So, accrued interest, ma'am, bakit po? Because it is a liability also. It is unrecorded nga lang. Okay, so this accrued interest is at 250. So, we need to add these two. So, 10,000 plus 250 pesos is 10,250, which is this partially secured? So in here, nakasulat na yung partially secured. Pero let us check. So how much is the inventory? So here in the problem, it says here that the inventory has a book value of 12,000. Okay? Yun nga lang, we are not using our book value. Why? Because we will be using the actual realized value, right? So realizable value of 8,000 because it was also actually sold at 8,000 pesos. Okay, so of course we will use that. So 10,250, of course, the liability is greater than the asset pledged to it, which is 8,000. So of course, this is a partially secured liability. Okay, so in here, when we deduct the 8,000, we will have our remaining amount or the unsecured portion of 2,250 pesos. So this is the unsecured portion. So let us move on to our actual computation. So the realizable value or the realized value of 8,000 pesos, okay, will be paid entirely, okay, to the bank. And of course, what else? The unsecured portion of 2,250, we will have to multiply 30%, right? So let us get our calculator in this case. So our calculator, let us encode our 2,250 pesos unsecured portion multiplied to 30%. Okay, so we have 675 pesos. Okay, so of the unsecured portion of 2,250, 675 can be paid or can be collected by the bank. So that's why when we add these two, okay, we will get the answer of 8,675. So the bank should receive 8,675. So the answer would be letter C, 8,675. So yun, remember, double check the question, okay? And take note of all the given. So in here, tinitake note ko agad kung ilang percent agad. I am checking here if this is a partially secured or fully secured. And then I label the unsecured portion and then I go to the computation itself. So, yun na. So, that's it. Thank you
Nice.
very much.
Thank you
Yes,
so
sir.
much, ma'am.
Thank
Thank
you,
you. Ang
sir.
ganda, ang
Thank
galing,
you.
ma'am, for ang galing. So, ngayon ko rin mas na-appreciate ang ano to, ang corporate liquidation.
Yes, sir.
And then guys, no, by the way, ma'am, congrats no sa iyong ano to, yung PhD journey mo ha. Na-surprise ako dun ha.
Thank you,
So
sir.
guys, we also I want you to keep watch on this our 5-day intensive basic accounting lessons for 5-day refresher program namin ng sponsored by CPA Online Review School. So yeah, if you are very, let us say, oldies ka na no sa accounting, so we have this 5-day intensive basic accounting lesson. This is for free, guys, no? So for free again. So we are trying to reach out to everyone for this. Okay. So yeah, I think that's it for our topic for today, for tonight. Thank you so much, guys, for listening. So we have another round of part 2 of this on coming on this Saturday for another topic for AFAR. Okay? So we will post again the invitation and then please register again with the attached link. So if you have any questions, guys, email us and then we will respond to you the answer. Okay? So right now, Ma'am Isa, any parting words to them, to our students?
Yes, sir. Maraming salamat sa lahat ng mga nakinig, sa lahat ng mga mag-e-enroll. Maraming salamat. Pagpalain tayo ng Diyos lagi tayo mananalangin at magtiwala sa ating mga kakayahan. Hindi ko naman sinasabi na mag-overconfidence, no? Tulad nga ng sabi ko kanina, kailangan talaga nating mag-aral ng mabuti. Hindi natin pwede ipagpasawalang bahala yung pagbabasa, pagre-review ng mga handouts natin, ng mga materials. Mahalagang-mahalaga ito para sa ating board exam. And enjoy your CPA board exam journey.
Oh, enjoy nyo lang yung journey, di ba?
Yes, kasi
Oh,
marami tayong matututunan dyan. Ganyan
oh,
talaga ang buhay. May problema. Ayan, tulad ko, bumagsak ako nung una, pero
pumasa na, no?
masa naman
Pumasa
ako
naman.
and natuturuan ko kayo. So,
Oh, nice.
'di ba?
Kaya nga,
Bumagsak
di
ako
ba?
pero nakakapagturo. So,
Exactly,
ayun.
ma'am. Yun nga yung idea eh.
Yes.
Ang galing na just isipin niyo yun na guys, no, napakasimple na just like me, I'm not so bright naman, but here I am talking in front of you. Ganun din pala si Ma'am Isa, no? Na
Yes, sir.
isipin mo, bumagsak, yung pangalawang take, hindi pa pumasa, naging conditional pa. And then here she is talking to you, giving you some tips on how to become a CPA. Okay guys, so
Okay.
last invite ko sa inyo. We will have another talk tomorrow, but this is a different view. So this is a soft skills naman, which is time management. So please come by tomorrow. Register na rin kayo tomorrow. Okay? So Ma'am Isa, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you to all our participants, to our FB Live audience. Thank you so much. So this is me, Tristan Cristobal, and I'm with Ma'am Isa. Okay. Signing off and goodbye. God bless everyone. Bye-bye.
God bless. Bye.